The County Commission's EMS Committee may have driven the final nail into the coffin of the struggling Norris Ridge Volunteer Fire Department at last night's meeting, voting to recommend that the county funds appropriated for Norris Ridge be instead divided between Campbell County Rural Fire Service and Jacksboro Fire Department. Those two fire departments have been providing coverage for the area once served by the defunct Pinecrest Volunteer Fire Department, while volunteers work to establish Norris Ridge to replace debt-ridden Pinecrest. Chief McKay McCullough told commissioners that he has 2 trucks and a tanker truck ready for service, 8 volunteers who are certified and ready to fight fires, and enough turnout gear for 20 firefighters. I can call 911 dispatch and start service tomorrow, McCullough claimed. He then admitted that Norris Ridge has only around $500 in the bank and has not yet been able to afford the $850 fee that must accompany an application to the IRS for tax-exempt status. Without the IRS 501c application, Norris Ridge cannot receive any of the $15,000 that the county pledged 5 months ago to keep the department alive. Campbell County Rural Fire Service Chief Don McGuire first told commissioners that he is not interested in taking on responsibility for the Pinecrest area on a permanent basis, then made a convincing argument for why Norris Ridge has no chance of surviving to protect the area. McGuire instead suggested that his service could assume responsibility for the former Pinecrest Station at Cumberland View, while Jacksboro and Caryville fire departments can serve the areas within the town's urban growth plan, such as Mount Perrin. The board of Pinecrest Volunteer Fire Department was advised to declare bankruptcy and start over with a clean slate, but they ignored that good advice and assumed all of the debt for the Pinecrest on Norris Ridge. They're too burdened with debt to survive, McGuire added. Commissioner Marie Ayers, who lives in the Pinecrest area, pointed out that insurance rates have already risen by as much as 50% on many homes in the area due to uncertain fire protection. McGuire said that if the area is assigned to Campbell County Rural Fire Service, that he will designate it as Station Number 5, and his services rating will bring insurance rates back down. Thomas Hatmaker offered to front the Norris Ridge group the difference between their current cash reserve and the amount needed to apply for tax-exempt status, but enthusiasm for saving the department was lacking among the other committee members. A motion by Bob Walden to allow Campbell County Volunteer Fire Service and Jacksboro to take over the area and share the $15,000 in county funds passed unanimously. During the commission workshop, commissioners faced another potential financial crisis involving emergency services, this time a shortfall in operating funds for E911. E911 Director Charlie Hudson explained that the surcharge on commercial and residential telephone lines is no longer adequate to fund the call center due to the growth of the cell phones. The legislature was considering a bill to increase the fees assessed on cell phone bills, but it was withdrawn. Next year is an election year, and it will go nowhere, Hudson told commissioners. Jacksboro 911 board member Jack Cannon pointed out that 3 years ago, 911 received $22,000 a month from the phone bill surcharge on landlines. That is down to $12,000 to $13,000 now, and going on down, he pointed out. The county's small towns, Caryville, Jacksboro, and Jellicoe, cannot afford to pay for dispatching services, Cannon argued, and Hudson told commissioners that the county's current payment of $198,000 a year must be increased by as much as $150,000 to keep services at current levels. What can you get by with? Rusty Orick asked. 2 cents on the tax rate, Hudson replied. That's $88,000. The alternative, commissioners were told, would be to eliminate dispatchers at the E911 center, simply using the hardware to automatically transfer calls depending on the location to other agencies such as the ambulance service, fire departments, or police. Predictably, commissioners moved on to other topics without indicating whether they would be willing to raise taxes to keep dispatchers on duty at the call center. Commissioners also offered few answers to another group of citizens representing several families who claim that the caretakers at Baker's Forge Cemetery have been selling grave sites that are already deeded to their families, digging graves on top of existing graves dating back to the TVA removal and other illegal practices. The county commission has no legal authority over a private cemetery, County Attorney Joe Coker pointed out. Advising the group to seek legal representation, complaints to the Sheriff's Department resulted in an investigation, but Sheriff Robbie Goins told commissioners that he could do nothing about the alleged desecration of the graves. Any violations took place too long ago, and the statute of limitations has expired, the sheriff explained. Baker's Forge was established by TVA when graves had to be moved from the land due to the flooded area by Norris Dam. 3 community churches originally shared responsibility for perpetual care of the cemetery, but Ernst come down and an independent board finally assumed control. There was no shortage of candidates Monday night at the meeting to fill the seat of former Caryville Alderman Michael F. Miller. 2 people were nominated for the position, while a third offered to serve the remainder of Miller's term. Miller, who had not attended a board meeting since the November election, finally resigned a few weeks ago. Board member Vicki Heatherly first made a motion for Mac Raines to replace Miller. However, the motion died for lack of a second. Later, in last night's meeting, Eric Smith, who ran against Miller during the last election, came before the board to ask for the seat. Mayor Chris Stanley said another name was getting ready to come up on the agenda, and if that didn't work out, he would consider Smith as a possible replacement. That set the stage for Lisa Crawford to step into the role. Mark Stanley made a motion for Crawford to fill Miller's seat on the board. Alan Smith seconded the motion, which passed 5-0-2. Vote Glenn Smith and Vicki Heatherly, both of them abstained from voting. Glenn Smith cited a conflict of interest as a reason for not voting. Town Recorder Cheryl Ivey then swore Crawford into office. In other business conducted last night, the board approved a payment of $5,500 for engineering, prep work, and plans for a project to alleviate a drainage issue at the Pro Image Sign Company in the J. Wales Smith Industrial Park. Caryville board members then approved a resolution submitting the project to the state for a fast-track grant. The Town of Jacksboro Board of Mayor and Aldermen signed off on the project during its meeting last Thursday night. Caryville's board also approved the final reading of an ordinance abandoning Alexander Drive at the Industrial Park, which will help Pro Image with parking for its employees. The board approved a motion for the purchase of a mower arm for $15,000 from Chambers American. The board also approved Copeland Brothers to repair lights at the John McGee Industrial Park at a cost of $1,009. The board approved the advertising of bids for paving projects on Loop Road and Elkins Road. They also discussed future audit contracts and fielded concerns from a citizen over unreported proceeds from baseball tournaments at Asbury Park. Board member Mark Stanley commented that $3,200 had been raised during a baseball tournament for local cancer patient Caitlin Norman. The board also set aside April 25th for a budget workshop at 6 p.m. And it was a great night for Dixie Youth Baseball as it played the first game ever at Campbell County Park last night. Opening night and the new park kicked off with a bang as Chaos, a Beacon Finance director, played legals of the Dave Dunaway team. Christian Marlowe had the first ever hit at the field and also scored the first run for Chaos. Hunter Dotson was the first player to use the tee. David Graham has all the pictures and the complete story coming up in tomorrow's sports report. And that's a look at the news. Stay tuned. We'll be back with a press release from the Campbell County Sheriff's Department. Time now to take a look at the Campbell County Sheriff's Department's press release, and it shows that 8 people were booked into the jail in the past 24 hours. Mark Anthony Baltimore, 35, of Harrogate, on a capias. 54-year-old Sheila Havens of East Virginia Avenue, La Follette, for second offense DUI, violation of the driver's license law, burglary, and vandalism over $1,000. 33-year-old Nathan Troy Henderson of Loop Road in Newcomb for violation of probation. Corey King, 25, of Oneida, was picked up and held for another agency. Stephen Edward Lester, 56, of North 11th Street, La Follette, on a capias bench warrant. 47-year-old Johnny Edward Morris of Church Street, La Follette, for violation of probation and driving on a revoked or suspended license, second offense. 42-year-old Jerry B. Phillips of Jellicoe for aggravated assault by domestic violence. And last today, Adam Lee Wallace, age 20, of South Cumberland Avenue, La Follette, for assault. And that's a look at our news and press release for this Tuesday. Join us again tomorrow. We'll be back with the midweek edition of your news.
We sing happy birthday to you, and may all your dreams come true.
Happy, happy birthday.
Oh,
this is your birthday song.
Oh,
Celebration all night long.
May all you... Hey, Big Josh with you on this Tuesday afternoon, looking at our birthday and anniversary club, brought to you by WLAF and Eastside Pizza and Deli. They're located in the Food Lion Shopping Center. Today's birthday, we got Mr. John Clark. He's celebrating number 83 today. Happy birthday to you, sir. And yesterday, Jonathan Burge turned 30 years old. Happy belated birthday to you, Jonathan. And hey, our good buddy Reverend Gary Mosier had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to you, sir. And we hope you all had and are having a super day. Remember this now. If you're celebrating your birthday or your anniversary and we don't have it on our list today, we want you to get your name in here, because that's the only way that you can qualify to win a birthday dinner for two or an anniversary dinner for two from WLAF and Eastside Pizza and Deli. Hey, listen, we've had a great day. Hope you have. See you tomorrow, good Lord willing.
Started out a long time ago, working hard to make heaven my home. Better than living in sin astray. I love the good old gospel